can look quite scary to some of you. Okay, this one can look quite scary to some of you because when you look at this particular equation over here, it seems like there's a lot of things. But don't be too afraid about it. Actually, this one looks quite similar to Pythagoras theorem, a little bit like Pythagoras theorem, but it's not. Okay? So I'm going to try to explain to you without using this thing yet. What does this mean? Okay? So let me press done, let me go to the bottom. Now what this thing actually tells us is that, let me draw a triangle so I can push it down. Now what does this tell us is that when given a particular triangle, okay, if we are given a particular triangle, same thing, vertex A, B, C, we can actually use the cosine rule to actually help us to find the sides and the angles of the triangle. Okay, we can actually use the cosine rule to help us to find the angles and sides of the triangle. One big question that many of you would have is that, can I use the sine rule? Can I use the cosine rule? The sine rule seems to be a lot easier. Can I just learn the sine rule only and don't use the cosine rule? You can. There are some cases whereby you are free to choose which rule you want to use. They will not dictate you. But there are some cases by which you can only use the cosine rule. Okay, there are some cases by which you can only use the cosine rule. The other rules you cannot use. Okay, if you try to use the other rules, it will fail. So therefore, you need to know both. Okay, you need to know both. Now the way that you need to use the cosine rule is that you need to always look out for the included angle. It's pretty much like the area of the triangle. Okay? The formula goes like this. Let me say this is A, this one is B, this one is C. This one, please listen up, because if you get this one, it is a lot easier for you to understand this one. But if you don't understand this part, then it can be very difficult. Okay? You need to be able to understand how to apply this one, because this one is not as straightforward. Okay, so you really need to give it your fullest attention. You really need to give it your fullest attention. Yu Yuan and Shayna, can you please listen to this one? That one is important. Okay, the rest, if you understand, is fine. But this one is really important. Okay, now what this formula tells us is that I will first choose one of the sides. Okay, I choose any side. Let us choose A. Let us choose this side over here. So I know that the A square is going to be equals to, once you have chosen one of the sides, you just focus on the included angle between two of the lines. Okay, I highlight for you. Okay, you just need to focus on the included angle and the two sides. So the A square will be equals to the B square plus C square minus 2BC cosine big angle A. I'm going to explain to you because this is the most crucial one. So the first thing is you choose one of the sides. In this case, you choose A. The square of A will be equals to the square of the two sides, which is B square plus C square, minus away 2 times of the B times C cosine of this angle, the included angle. Okay? So you have to remember this, how this thing flows. The first part is like Pythagoras theorem. Okay? A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared. The second part is not like Pythagoras theorem. Minus 2 BC cosine A. Okay? If you think you understood this, can we try another one? Write it on a piece of paper somewhere. You can use the same paper somewhere, but you have to try by yourself. Let's try to find this side then. Side B. Okay, if we want to find side B, then the sides that we are concerned about would be the two yellow sides and its included angle. Okay, I try another one with you. If you are okay already, try to do by yourself. Okay, if you are not okay, follow along. So if I want to find out what this B is, I'm going to let it be my first one. Right? So I'm going to say, okay, B squared is equals to, I must look, what's the other two sides? A and C. So it's equals to A squared plus c square minus 2ac cosine what? Cosine the included angle over here. So cosine capital B. Okay, you have to try on your own. By just looking, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Do the last one by yourself. Okay, ask yourself what is C. If you want to find the length of C, how are you going to do it? Okay, if you want to find the length of C, how are you going to do it? Means this is your main one. Okay, I highlight for you the two sides. I highlight in blue for you the two sides and the included angle. Can you try by yourself? The last one. This one you must catch it. If not, if you go through all the other worksheets, you'll be confused. You have no idea what we are talking about. Okay, you must know how to apply the formula. So if I want to find what is C squared, how do I find out what is C squared? Can you try? Write it down a couple of times. Make sure you know. I repeat one more time. The C squared, you straight away, you look for the two included angle, the one included angle and its two sides. Okay, so the C squared will be equals to the B squared plus A squared minus 2BA cosine big C, the angle here. Okay, you have to know this, how to find this. You have to take some time to know how this formula works. Most of the confusion, people don't like to use cosine rule is because they don't know how to use it. Even if you memorize A squared is equals to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. Even if you memorize it, it means nothing. Okay, it means nothing. You memorize without knowing how to apply it, it means nothing. Okay, the sine rule you can memorize and it sort of makes sense. This one, you must understand how to apply it. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's try on a question. Let's look at example number 1, how we are going to try to apply it. Now, in this question, they want us to find the length of BC. Actually, if you know how this method works, there's no need for you to memorize any formula anymore. Okay, so if you want to find out what the length of BC is, which is this one, let's let it be x, right? Let's let this length be x. Let's let BC be x. So if you know the formula, then you should know that the x squared is equals to what? The x squared is equals to the square of its two sides, right? So you know the first one would be x squared is equals to 3 squared plus 2 squared. Then the second part is to minus 2 times the side of the two sides. 3 times 2 cosine. This is a cosine rule, right? Cosine what? The included angle, 75. Okay, the hard part of this particular chapter is to know how to apply the formula. If you don't know how to apply the formula, memorizing the formula is completely and utterly useless. You must know how to apply. If you know how to apply, this chapter is easy. Okay, so this question is easy because you can just enter the whole thing into your calculator, which I'm going to do it right now. 3 squared plus 2 squared minus 2 times 3 times 2 cosine 75. I get x squared is equals to 9.8941. I can square root this answer. I get x is equals to 3.15. Okay, I'm going to leave to 3 sig fig. Okay, I'm going to leave the 3 sig fig. So it's 3.15. Oh, units is very important. So this is cm. Okay, I hope you are slowly trying to get the hang of it. If you are not, let us try with example number 2. Okay, let's try with example number 2. Now, example number 2, right below it, they want you to find the length of PR. PR is the opposite length over here. This length over here. They want you to find this PR. So same, I'm going to let PR equals to x because that's what they want me to find, right? So in algebra, it's often easier if I just let it be a variable. So I'm just going to let it be x. So again, can you practice the formula? So I know that my x squared will be equals to the square of the two sides, which is the 5 squared plus 8 squared. Then I minus it away. I minus 2 times 5 times 8. Cosine. Cosine what? Cosine of the included angle. Included angle means is this 110. 110. Okay, so please work this out on your own. 5 square plus 8 square. You need to practice entering into your calculator. Even though you may think that it's a meaningless task, but it's important. Okay, if you do that, you will get x is equals to 10.8 cm. 10.8 cm, this is to 3 significant figures. Okay, this is to 3 significant figures. Okay, if you are okay with this one, let's look at example number 3. Now, example number 3 is quite unique because there is no figure that is given to you. Absolutely 0 figures are given to you. Are we able to do this question? So they tell us that in triangle XYZ, XY is 4 cm, XZ is 6 cm, YZ is 9 cm. Find ZXY. Now, it doesn't really matter how this triangle looks like. You can just draw a regular triangle. Just draw out a regular triangle. It doesn't have to be in scale yet. Okay? Doesn't have to be in scale. Let's mark it as X, Y, and Z. That's the very first step that you want to do. Can you just mark it as X, Y, and Z? It's going to be it's not going to be drawn to scale. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay? But sometimes if there's no diagram given to you in the exam, draw one on your own. Draw one on your own. So in this case, they tell us that XY is 4 cm, XY is 4 cm. So I'm going to say, okay, this is 4 cm over here. XZ is 6 cm. XZ is 6 cm is over here. And YZ is 9 cm. This is 9 cm over here. And they want you to find what is ZXY. So they want you to find what is this angle over here. Now, since they want us to find out what this angle is, as usual, I'm going to let it be my angle X. Okay, as usual, I'm going to let it be my angle X. Now, this one, I need you to put on your thinking cap a little bit. Okay, I need you to put on your thinking cap a little bit. Here, we know that this chapter is about using the sine rule. Okay, this chapter is about using the sine rule. Not sine rule, cosine rule, my apologies. Okay, and the cosine rule, if you understand how to apply the cosine rule, you will know which one should be your first, let's call it the reference side. Okay, which one should be your reference side? I want you to always look out for the included angle. This is the included angle, right? This is the included angle between two of the sides. So I want you to look opposite the included angle, which is 9. Okay, so how I would do it? Is I would let this be 9 square is equals to 4 square plus 6 square minus 2 times 4 times 6 cosine x. I'm going to pause here. How did I do this so quickly? Okay, because I know that this is the angle I am interested to find. So it must be in my cosine x. This angle here is the included angle. That means everything to the right hand side. You realize everything to the right hand side is all the information of this included angle and its two sides. My reference side will be the one that stays on by itself on the left hand side. It's just its opposite one, opposite to the angle. Okay, so that's how I will come up with this particular equation over there. Now with this, can you work out what cosine x is and find out what the angle x is on your own? Okay, the first thing I may want to do is I bring these two over. So of course, if I bring it over, I'm going to get 9 square minus 4 square minus 6 square is equals to, let's work this thing out. This one is negative 2 times 4 times 6. I get negative 48 cosine x. Right? And this one, if I enter in my calculator, 9 square minus 4 square minus 6 square, I'll get 29. Let's replace this with 29. Okay, so I can get cosine x is equals to 29 divided by negative 48. Let me try to bring this up. Never mind. Let me write it over there. Okay, I'll do it up here. Okay, so I know that cosine x is equals to 29 over negative 48. So to find out what angle x is, I can do a cosine inverse on both sides. So my angle x is equals to the cosine inverse of negative 29 over 48. I will get 127.2 degrees. This is to one decimal place. Okay, this is to one decimal place. That's how I do this question. Okay, so actually this type of question is not more difficult than sine, but the difficulty that many students face is they don't know how to apply. That is the biggest problem. Now, can you look at question number 1 on the next page, on page 2? All the answers has been given to you. I will let you try on your own all these questions. I'll give you about, let me see how much time you have. Okay, we have until 9:10, about 10 minutes more. Can I give you 5 minutes to try as many as you can before I at least go through a few of them together? Okay, if you have any questions, raise your hands, I'll come to you. Okay, good. I think some of you have already completed until the end already. Okay, in the short period of time that I already went through. So it's actually possible to actually complete this relatively quickly. Okay, it's possible. Okay, if you have any questions or if you're stuck, you need some hints, need some clues, you can raise your hands, I can come and help you. Okay, because of time, I'm going to have to take over here. I think some of you can do, some of you are stuck. Okay, but before I continue, for those of you later on, you're going to try this on your own. I think there are a couple of things that I need you to write down. Can you turn to your page? Which page is that? Question 8. Okay, Shanice has pointed out here that you need to have an M over here. This is the midpoint M. Okay, this is the midpoint M. Okay, question 8, the midpoint M. And also, if you are doing this question, then of course, this one, question 7, to 2 decimal places, just take note, this is actually to 1 decimal place. So the answer here is not very exact. Okay, so that's the only 2 changes. Okay, let's go down to the fundamentals and basics again. I'll just be going through 2 of the questions because we don't really have time, but if you do any questions halfway, you need some hints or you need some help, please let me know. Okay, I will try my best to help you as soon as I can. Okay, so when we look at this question, for those of you who are still confused, still cannot start at all, please pay attention on how we use the cosine formula. Okay, please make sure you know how to use cosine formula. You first decide which one is your reference side. So if you decide that this x is going to be the reference side, since you're going to find it, then you'll just let x squared is equals, you're going to focus everything on the right hand side of the equation is just going to be on this part. So it's just going to be 10 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 10 times 12 cosine 40. That's it. Okay? So if you do this, pretty much you would be able to solve for x. So very quickly, I'll just give you the answer. 10 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 10 times 12 cosine 40, and I square root it. So I'm going to get x is equals to 7.76. Okay, there's no units here. No, there's a units. Let's leave it as cm. Okay, so that's how we get this answer over here. Part B is exactly the same. I will not write down the final answer for you, but I'll just go through again how am I going to do it. Same thing here, x squared. I know I chose this as my reference side. Please practice along. For those of you who are, I'm taking the time to write out every single step for you. Okay, if you really cannot continue, please try along. Don't just sit there and just look. If not, you will never learn. Okay, x squared, I focus on the 2 other sides. So my answer will be 5 squared plus 3 squared minus 2 times 5 times 3 cosine 111. If you solve for this, you will get 6.69 cm. This one is the most important. If you cannot come up with this, or you don't even know how we came up with this, then you are in huge trouble. You will not be able to apply the formula at all. Okay, the next 2 I'm going to do on an angles question. Let's find an angle question. Let's look at part D. Part D, an angle question. I see that this one is my included angle. So my reference side will be opposite it. So all I need to do is 5 squared is equals to my 7 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 7 times 8 cosine theta. Very quickly, I'm able to write down this equation over here. Okay, very quickly, I'm able to write down this equation over here. And when I do that, I can straight away try to simplify it. That means I will try to bring these 2 over to the other side. So I will get 5 squared minus 7 squared minus 8 squared is equals to, let me try to solve this, negative 2 times 7 times 8. I get negative 112 cosine theta. So my left hand side is 5 squared minus 7 squared minus 8 squared. I get negative 88 is equals to negative 112 cosine theta. Okay, so I get cosine theta is equals to negative 88 divided by negative 112. So can you find out what cosine actually is? So it's 88 divided by 112. You find the sine inverse. Let me write out the full working. So theta will be equals to the cosine inverse of 88 over 112, the negative, is equals to 30, the answer is over there, 38.2. Okay, so this is how we do this type of question. Okay, I got 1 more minute. So let's look at part E. I won't do the full working out, I'll just write out the first step. So if you are really stuck, you just follow along. I see this is my reference angle, I see this is the opposite side. So I know the formula is 14 square. I'm going to take this side, I'm going to square it. It's going to be equals to the square of the other two sides, which is 11 square plus 9 square. Then I'm going to subtract 2 times 11 times 9 cosine the included angle, which is theta. Okay, I hope if you solve this, you'll be able to find that theta is 88.3 degrees to 1 decimal place. Okay? Now, for those of you who cannot complete everything in time, please make sure you do that. Okay? And I think for these worksheets, you should be able to do question 2 and 3 by yourself. And next time I see you, I won't see you tomorrow, so I think you have quite some time. I won't see you tomorrow, I'll see you on Thursday. Okay, so I'm going to upload a video on most of the questions. I want you to go and watch the video if you're stuck, especially the last few questions. It's quite tricky. Watch the video before if you're really stuck, watch the video. Okay, watch it, then you try to attempt it. And try to do it by yourself again. Okay, if not class 10, okay, thank you class. Yes.